Hello and welcome to Global Television. Once again, it's a Monday, first business day of the week, and as always, we are delighted to know you're joining us here on Global Morning. I hope you had a great weekend and you're all set for all of the challenges and, of course, the prospects and promises that will come with this new working week. I'm Uyi Agmofwebe.
And I'm Priscilla Obasi. Good morning, Uyi. How was
Priscilla.
the weekend, elections?
I was hoping you would not ask.
Results calling and all of that. How's it?
I think that's the highlight of it, really, the result part of it. Yes, people are interested in the process. They want to be sure it's free, fair, credible, transparent, and what have you. But more importantly, they want to know who carries the day, who wins, and all of that. But of course, as they say, the results are in now. And we know how it all went. Yes, we were here. I mean, Priscilla and I incidentally were here in the studio live for several hours on Saturday, and we had our colleagues dispersed across the city just to ensure we gave you, some sort of 360 view of what was happening. And today the rest is history because those results are in. Winners have been declared, and hopefully this week they will be issued their certificates of return by INEC. So APC carried 5 of those area councils. And PDP wound up with 1. Yes.
Well, I reached out to an ADC guy today, and he was not.
ADC.
He was. I think it was yesterday. He was not just in the mood. He was not. He was happy. He was injured. He was literally.
He wasn't having it.
He wasn't having it. So he just like, please, I'm not feeling fine. Can you call me later? So the result has it has really sparked narratives here that people thinking that it wasn't free and fair.
Right.
We saw clips on the internet. We saw people, who said at their polling units they came with their PVCs. At the same time, they were not allowed to vote because the Beavers wasn't getting their NIN.
Right.
Somehow they said their NIN didn't happen. So I was wondering, I thought PVC is supposed to be enough.
Right.
Why NIN?
Well,
Why?
At what point do we start to require that?
Exactly. So it was people complained about that and other kinds of anomalies that happened across polling units. There are some polling units that had the complaints of beavers being misplaced or beavers being exchanged. Somehow, wrong beavers is taken to polling units, and at the end of the day, people could not identify themselves and all of that. And then it just keeps me, or it just gets me wondering how prepared, when would we ever be prepared for elections? Why do we still have such situations coming up on elections day? What happens to the preparation process? Can we already start preparing for 2027 already? Right now, so that we don't have this kind of issues come up in 2027. But above all, I also reached out to an APC guy, and he said, I think it was free and fair. Of course, what do you expect? So the winning team would stay quiet all through the counting period. The losing team
always agitated.
You guys, and it's always that
right. And it's understandable.
Actually, exactly, it's understandable. But do you think it was free and fair indeed?
So when it comes to Nigerian elections, it's almost, it's extremely difficult to determine whether it was free and fair. But again, let's ask ourselves, what makes an election free and fair? First of all, it means that INEC would have done its part already, which means INEC would have been fully prepared for the election. By every definition of the term prepared. Then INEC would have consulted with all the parties that have a dog in the fight, so to speak, which means that INEC would have been in touch, INEC would have been engaging with all of these political parties within the guidelines of INEC, of the election, and of course the extant laws and what have you. It also means that the security agencies and other critical stakeholders, like we mentioned here on Saturday, would have also done their part, or must be seen to be doing their part. All right? Then it means INEC must be the unbiased empire. It means security agencies must not be seen to be working for one big man or one political party. It means that every discerning mind, every dispassionate person must see that there's no such thing as federal might or power of incumbency in play. We must see all of that. So once you have all of those, and then you know that the law, whether the ground norm, the Constitution, the Electoral Act 2026, which is a bit of a bride for us right now, all the guidelines are set out by INEC are all in full throttle to serve the overall interest of not political parties, not candidates, not some vested interest of the establishment, birth Nigerians. So if we have all of these elements and factors established, we can say the election is free and fair. However, because public trust has been eroded over a long time in Nigeria, even when I know that Priscilla Obasi won free, fair, and squarely, I'll still want to fight it because there's something in my head. You know, this thing it's like a chip in our psyche. There's something in my head that tells me she won because she's a member of the ruling party. She won because she has more money. She won because she's an incumbent. There's always going to be that. But you see, again, that now pushes a whole lot of work to public institutions, starting with INEC, and then of course our judiciary. Because I mean, I've spoken with politicians and even non-politicians, non-partisan people. I've spoken with lawyers about these issues, and they say, look, one of the challenges we have is people now find it almost impossible to build trust in public institutions because how do you explain to any right-thinking person that you conduct an election where you have spent several billions, in some cases like the general election, hundreds of billions, and then you still end up in court? You still find yourself in a situation where it is the court that determines whether it was Priscilla or Uyi who won. Then you're not asking yourself, if that is the norm, if that has become the pattern or the trajectory, do we still need INEC? I mean, these are common sense questions. You see, such a question should put INEC on its toes. Of course, INEC must be able to put its its money where its mouth is, which means that INEC must be able to show results, as they say on the street, show workings. All right, for all the monies that are Nigerians, because this is all our money. It's not money coming from the president or from the APC or any political party. It is coming from Nigerians. People pay taxes, so it's our common patrimony that we are putting into these investments that we call election. And like Ubong's guest said on Big Talk last night, right? Election is the bedrock of any functional, vibrant, robust democracy. So if you don't get it right with your elections, it means you are just going to be a big joke of the world, expecting you are going to have good governance, expecting that I mean, of course, the narrative is always going to be dividends of democracy. But when you do that, you are just being hypocritical because you have missed it at the base, which is the election. So by the time our elections become free, fair, credible, and transparent, you realize that this issue about voter apathy would have been addressed. Public trust would have been returned in our public institutions, because whether you like it or not, that's where it all starts from. People should be able to vote, go home, trusting that whoever is announced as the winner has actually won. But politicians would always give excuses and say there's no perfect election or electoral process in the world. Go to India, go to Brazil, go to the US, even in Europe.
Even in the US,
but the question is, to what extent, on what scale, on what basis are we doing this comparison? Can we compare Nigeria with Germany, since we are now talking global comparison? Can we compare Nigeria with France? Can we compare Nigeria with Switzerland? Can we compare Nigeria with the Netherlands? These are the issues. So, I mean, look at how the system even worked, for example. In 2016, some Americans said that Russia had interfered in U.S. elections that brought Donald Trump for his first term. By 2020, of course, Joe Biden won. Donald Trump said it was rigged, and that was what led to the January 6th insurrection in 2021, which has become some albatross for President Donald Trump. I mean, the first in the history of American presidency. We're saying this to say that we must have a system where people can trust the process. Where Priscilla can take a break today, for example, to go cast her ballot because there's early voting. Where Uyi has the option to vote by mail. I mean, it should be a potpourri of options. But when we talk about all of these things, you see some hallelujah boys telling you that no, it's not possible. There's no internet in Uyi's village.
It's impossible.
Priscilla does not have light in our village. Therefore, we must be progressive in our thinking. We must be upward.
I was going to ask, in a country like America, I mean, we were in the studio here on Saturday, and because of the fact that we don't have other means of voting, we're limited. We're limited to voting. Do we have people that work in this capacity also cast their votes?
Right.
These are the questions we should be asking. Another thing has raised concern on this whole election. It was part of the utterances that the FCT minister made when he said, just go and do your own, I will do my part.
So question is, what's his part?
Questions started sparking up.
Does he also have one vote? And let's also be clear, has he moved his card from Obiakpo to Abuja?
Did he vote? Did you even see him vote?
Yeah, was he in town?
I think he was just going around different polling units.
Did he do early voting?
I have not seen any video that captured the FCT minister voting. Even if at this point he he should have transferred his, his
card already,
card because
he has had enough time to do that.
Exactly, he's the FCT minister. We expect that as he is going from polling unit to polling unit, we see him, being captured voting. But we didn't see any of that.
At least somewhere between Maitama and Asokoro.
Exactly. But what we saw, the video that circulated was when he said, "Go and do your part. I will do my part." What do you mean by "I will do my part" is the first question I want to ask. Regardless, in these elections, I think one thing that is clear is that these candidates, even the winners, will know now that Nigerians are not joking again. Your 4 years counting already, and people are keeping records. Before you come out in the next 4 years to come and say vote for me again, the records are already being kept. Because before now, people really paid blind eyes to elections around the local governments, local councils, and all of that. But right now, even though there was voter apathy, some people believe that the reason for the voter apathy was the fact that we don't care, right? You guys have no work. Why should I go? And I don't know who you are. Why should I come out, risk my life? Why should I go, take the whole time instead of resting, coming in to stand on the queue to vote for someone I don't know? But right now we're aware. Nigerians are aware of these people. It has circulated on the internet. Whatever campaigns that was done, we don't really know what the campaigns were, the promises. But we're keeping records. Nigerians are keeping record, and trust me, you will not come out in the next 4 years and ask for a return without Nigerians pointing to you what you have achieved and what you have failed to achieve. So it is worthy of note to all the candidates and even the winners that, you have to do your own bit. You have been elected. Whatever you said you will do, you just have to do it.
All right, so politicians, this is Priscilla Obasi's charge to you to match words with action. All right, we're taking a break now. Of course, we'll be looking at, if you like, call it post-mortem of the area council elections from Saturday. Of course, there were by-elections in places like Kano and River State as well. President Bola Tinubu has come out to say, look, we appreciate what has happened. How this all turned out. Congratulating his party, the APC, as well as the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike. So much to unpack for you on Global Morning today. As always, please stay with us. One of the concerns that people have raised since Sunday is how that they didn't see, frontline, or what you probably should have seen as frontline political parties actually, maybe they put their best foot forward, but the outcome didn't really match expectations. Talking about the African Democratic Congress, the ADC, for example. Of course, the People's Democratic Party, the PDP. Yes, we can say the PDP can take solace knowing that it won at least one area council. I think that's Gwagwalada. Yes, but out of 6, one would have thought PDP, with all of the things the party has said across board the whole time, would go home with at least 3 of these area councils. Maybe the ADC would do, who knows, maybe 1, leaving APC with 2. But there were people who also had said that with the Wike factor in force, it was nearly impossible for the ADC to go home with even a councillorship.
Well, I think they tried, really. If you look at the results of the votes, you see that they didn't really do badly. Because this is a new party we're talking about. Well, not really new, but a new coalition.
It's a new party with old boys.
A new party with old boys, but it really goes to say that 2027 is going to be tough because I think some of the polling units, ADC emerged winners, even if they ultimately did not emerge winners. There are polling units that they won. Right? They won. So it's a big competition for the APC in 2027, if you ask me. Looking at the results and everything, yes, they didn't win, but I really think they tried. And for the PDP, I would say I was shocked, really, because, the party in such chaos right now, you don't even expect that nothing will come out of it. But for the fact that they were able to...
So there's light at the end of the tunnel.
There's light, there's hope for the PDP, really. But someone was saying jokingly that, watch out, this guy is going to decamp any moment, because... He's going to leave today. Let's see how that plays out, because I am also...
Because there's a pattern to that.
Yes. So he might just feel, okay, well, thank God I've gotten this, but I don't think I'm so safe. Right. Because of the fact that I am the only one.
I'm standing alone.
I'm standing alone. So there's every possibility that he'll start considering defection.
Right.
But
again, that takes PDP 2 steps backward.
Exactly. But if that happens, right? If that doesn't happen, I'm impressed. I'll say I'm impressed with the PDP. Right. This came out. It was a tough one.
Yeah, it was.
It really was a tough one.
All right. Well, so much to talk about elections today. Then, of course, our guests who will be joining us because of the program will be looking at the factor of opposition. As it stands today in Nigeria, do we really have opposition, or we just have a bunch of political opponents coming together as one to fight a common cause, which is to unseat Tinubu and APC in 2027. You know, I try to hold myself back from laughing every time I hear some of the big wigs in the ADC talk about how that the ultimate agenda is to remove President Tinubu in 2027. I'm asking myself, what's the mechanism, what's the modality, what's the strategy you intend to deploy in achieving that? Of course, they tell you, don't worry, we're wrapping that up for now. We're not going to let it out. It's not time to let the cat out of the bag and all of that. I'm wondering, if you have something in the bag, you probably also does not have an idea how much the president and his party have in their own bag, and how many bags, by the way, that they also have. But again, that is something that sparks concern around the effectiveness or otherwise of opposition politics in Nigeria. Because beyond just criticizing whatever it is that the government is doing from the other side, the question is, did you do better when you were there? That's number one. Number two is, even if you were given that chance again, what would you do better and in what way? And then the motivation or motive behind all of these things is saying, is he in the overall interest of the people, or you just want to, as politicians always say, grab power again? You miss the office, you miss the perks of public office. Because as it stands today, I mean, most times you hear the APC guys tell you, we don't have opposition, whether at the state or the federal level. Yeah.
So it's funny, when I hear these defections, right, somehow it looks like child's play. Today you see,
even when the governors defect.
Even when the governors, well, actually, yes. Because today, some of them, I feel for them because they often they miscalculate. For example, the ones that moved into the SDP, thinking that, okay, we have the likes of El-Rufai with us, and then El-Rufai leaves, and you're there alone.
The ones in the ADC, you meant?
No, the SDP. Because, okay, we had a candidate from
the you're talking about events before now.
Events before now. Right. Like those that, because El-Rufai was formerly the SDP.
And whether you like it or not, he commands some influence, he has some clout.
Exactly. So some people moved there because of him. You see some of this, I don't want to call them baby politicians, but upcoming politicians, you're trying to be mentored by these guys, and you're following them as they're going.
And then they do a detour.
They do a detour, you don't know where to go, because you know when you move, they would say it's because of this person you're moving. So you have to just stay there and stay in the powerless party per se. But it's funny. So you need to be very sensitive and just use all your superpowers to know what is ahead in Nigerian politics, because it's really childish sometimes. When I look at it, it's quite childish, and it's funny at the same time. So you will just see clearly that the motive is power. The motive is, you guys cannot rub this on my face. Right. I have to go and do something about it.
I have to even up.
Nigerians are mocking me at this point. What can I do to get the power back? So it is clear from all the defections we see. And if at all there's a little motive of making Nigeria better, even if it's a 10%, it's for these politicians. If we have a 10% from them, I think it's something that is good, something that is we should clap about, because it's what we have seen over the years is, now politicians that are just self-centered 100%. So if they say, okay, because of these people are aligning with us, because of the obedience, because of this other party, because of this camp, okay, we cannot really, that you just have to be sensitive working with these guys, because they know your motive. They are checkmating you. You cannot just misbehave. So it puts them in check. It gives them a little sense of purpose, right? And just a little sincerity of purpose. And I think it's worth it. And it's part of the things that we'll say is springing up in today's time in Nigeria with the whole democratic movement and everything. So whatever the case, these guys are a bit sincere, I would say. They have a little sincerity because of the fact that people are watching them, and they're trying to glean to the power or to the numbers out there that are supporting a candidate. For example, the Obedience. The Obedience have attached themselves to Obi for a while. And politicians like Atiku Abubakar, El-Rufai, Rotimi Amechi, and all of them will know that this guy has a force behind him, right? So you cannot just misbehave anyhow. When you want to do anyhow, you consider the fact that there are his people behind backing him, and that way you'll be careful with your judgment.
So they don't pull the plug.
So they don't pull the plug, exactly.
Well, time to just pivot a little for you on the program as we now join Ramsey Enoch Agbo on Inspirational.
It's another beautiful day, and I'm so excited to have you right here, where you can watch me from wherever you are, in Nigeria, in America, in Canada, in Europe, in Asia, everywhere. This very beautiful day. Today, I just want to encourage someone. What I do is to ensure and make you understand that the road to success is very broad, yeah? But then, so many persons are competing for the same thing that you are competing for. But you have everything that it takes to be the one who will achieve that success. On your journey of achieving success, so many things will happen on the way, but then you are a destined successful man, successful woman, and you need to know this first of all before you get started. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Welcome to your success tip. You can start where you are. That's it. You can start where you are. Where you are does not matter. I tell people oftentimes that where you are at a particular time does not really matter, but what you do with where you are. There is this saying that as far as you can see, you can actually seize it. Now let's get to talk briefly about this all-important discussion today. What are you seeing? What's in front of you? What are the obstacles that you're seeing? The obstacles that you are seeing, are you seeing some success ahead of the obstacle? But people who are not scared of work, heavy duty, oftentimes they get to success easily. But sometimes it comes dressed in form of work. But if you are the lazy type, if you are the type who doesn't want to do anything, just want success to come from heaven and just land on you, no. It doesn't happen that way. So what am I trying to establish? You need to start from where you are. Whatever you need to do. A lot of people are complaining every day. Some people complain more than the action. You're talking more, and there is less of action. How would you get to your destination? What you need to do as a young man, a young woman, irrespective of age, is to start from where you are. Let me tell you something about vision and accomplishment. There is a space, all right, between your vision and the period of accomplishment. Whatever that does not have a time it's not permitted to happen. Let me say that clear. Anything that does not have a timeline, that does not have a date, does not have the permission to come to fulfillment. So whatever you want to do from where you are, give it a date, give it a timeline, and pursue it. Write the vision, make it plain, pursue it, run after it, break it into bits. This is what I want to do. Some people don't even have their to-do list. And that's the reason a lot of people are confused today. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. That's the motto for today's discussion. All right? First of all, start where you are. Secondly, use what you have. Instead of complaining, start with what you have. A lot of people are potential entrepreneurs. A lot of people are potential CEOs, but their visions have died on their inside because of limitation. And the worst limitation is that one that comes from your inside, the one you impose on yourself. And that's the reason I am being I don't know, I just feel like talking about people who are stagnated today. That stagnation that you're complaining of, that you are tying to your environment or maybe to the resources that you have, that's not where the problem is. The problem is because you have refused to start with the little that you have. Do what you can. Do what you can. You can start alone, first of all, before you begin to have staff. Start it first. If you grow in a particular business to a particular point in time and you feel, all right, at this time, this is what I need to get to the other level, then I'm being limited by capital. You can meet one or two persons, share your idea with them, all right? And people can buy into your idea and sponsor your idea. Where you are now is not a limitation. The only thing that is the limitation is the fact that you have refused to start from where you are. You have refused to use what you have. You have refused to do what you can to push your vision forward. What am I trying to emphasize today? I want you to know that, let me ask something. How many dreams have died because someone was waiting for the perfect moment? There is nothing like the perfect time. The present time is the best time. If you had started that business yesterday, only God knows where you would have been now. That's your vision. I don't know why I'm talking about business today. It's like someone listening to me right now is supposed to start a business that the person has not started, maybe because the person feels there is no enough fund or there is no an enabling environment. I hear people complain all the time. We don't have an enabling environment no matter how the environment is. Get started first. All right? Things will fall into place. Some people say, I will start when I have the money. I will begin when I have the right equipment. I will take the first step when everything is in place. But no, it is beyond that. The truth is this: there will never be a perfect time. The perfect time is now. All right? The perfect time is when? It is now. According to Arthur Ashe, let me just give you this quote. The legendary tennis champion once said, start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. That's what we're building on today. He didn't have the fanciest equipment. He didn't train in the best facilities, but he had willpower, what we call willpower. What you need to do, you need to have what we call the willpower and the courage to start with what you have. You see, greatness, as a matter of fact, doesn't wait for perfection. It grows through progress. It's a progress. It's a progressive thing. Use that old phone, your handset. Use those old materials that you have. All right? That quiet voice. Just follow what that voice is telling you. Because what you have right now is enough to begin. The seed doesn't complain about not being a tree. It just grows where it's been planted. And every big dream starts small. You see the tree growing gradually until it becomes a tree, becomes a forest, and people go there, all right, to make use of it. Every expert was once a beginner, and every victory begins with a step. So what are you waiting for? Just take that step today, and you will get to your destination. You will get to fulfillment. All you have to do is just to take that step first. Just make that move. Well, if you can, just take that one step. Send that email, make that call, write that post, record that video. You already started a chain reaction towards your future already without you knowing. Finally, before I let you go, I want you to know that you need to take an action. Don't wait for the stars to align. Move and they will follow you. Your dream is waiting on your courage, not on your comfort. Start now. When do you have to start? Start now. Start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. And before you know it, you are already a talk of the town, a sought after, a success personified, And everyone, I told someone yesterday, I said, success have many brothers, but failure is an orphan. No one wants to identify with a failure. You will never be a failure. You're a successful man, you're a successful woman. Congratulations to you. This is where I will be stopping in this episode. My name is Ramsey. Once again, see you at the other side of success. Bye-bye.
Of the Punch newspaper. 2027 real-time results transmission achievable, says Telcos. Details on page 9. To the Star story, NNPC and UPRC fear financial squeeze after Tinubu's order. Rather to that says tension soars as executive order disrupts oil revenue flow. Pengasing, NNPC and UPRC officials foresee funding crisis. Details on page 2. India deports 2,356 Nigerians in 5 years. Details on page 45. Awujale, ruling family demands government resume selection process. And that detail is on page 45. Foreign investment in manufacturing plunges 54%. That detail is right there on page 7. 19 more Nigerians face U.S. deportation. Details on page 5. And finally, we have Uni Abuja expels 28 students over drug offenses. Others. Details on page 8. Those are your headlines for the Punch newspaper. Now we'll take it to the Nigerian Tribune, and Uyi takes us through it.
All right, I appreciate it, sir. Priscilla. Well, big one here says with Akika, Electoral Acts, what has changed in new law, Senate leader. With about 5 riders accompanying that headline. The first reads, mandatory deployment of beavers for voter accreditation, creation of dedicated fund for INEC, abolition of indirect primaries, creation of digital membership register by political parties, 2-year jail term for REC who withholds vital documents, upward review of campaign funds for elective officers. All right, well, we have a couple of more headlines here. Terrorists killing Nigerians are foreigners. Federal government insists. Does that stop us from tackling it? Do we need to determine if they are Nigerians or foreigners to tackle the issue? Nigeria floors European tech giants in $6.2 million arbitration case. List of application for regulation of area council land documents nullified, cancelled by the Honorable Minister of FCT, pages 12 to 21, where you'll find those details. And then there is a bit of health here. New inhalable TB treatment could replace daily pills. That sounds like some progress. All right, it's talking about a new inhalable tuberculosis treatment could replace daily pills. APC shows strength, wins big in FCT Kano, Rivers, Ogun. APC wins 5 area councils in FCT, PDP wins 1. PDP says voter apathy protests against APC's misrule. Outcome of elections, endorsements of Tinubu APC chairman. EFCC arrests 20 for suspected electoral fraud in FCT council. Poll recovers 13.5 million naira.
Capital markets contribution to GDP triples to 33%. Details on page 42. Nigeria wins in $62 million dispute with European firm. That's a big win. Details on page 49. Steer clear of Eba oil well. Ayedatiwa warns Abiodun. Details on page 51. Defense Minister General Musa on insurgency, counter-terrorism, production of military hardware, indictment of Kwankwaso by U.S. lawmakers, amongst others. So, it's a See Monday interview on pages 4 and 5 of the Nation newspaper. Some riders to that. Ruling party sweeps into big win in Abuja councils by elections. President hails peaceful protest. Okay. Well, I don't think it should be a surprise in Rivers because we have two big weeks in Rivers State helping the APC.
Talking about the Governor Fubara and Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike.
So, I mean, what do you expect?
So you're saying the APC is covered?
The APC is covered in Rivers. Of course, the APC is submerged in Rivers State. Okay, so next story. Interest rates cut likely as MPC meets today. Finally, we have Naira rallies across markets on oil refining, Forex injection. Detail on page 41. Those are your headlines for the Nation newspaper. Read up by getting yourself a copy. Go to the New Telegraph now.
All right, so let's see what we have on the front page of the New Telegraph for you this morning. The first one, actually we have 2 above the nameplate. Revenue generation. Federal government agencies collection costs up 33.4% to 1.35 trillion naira. Nigeria's capital market value soars to 123.93 trillion naira. Quite a lot of money there being mentioned. Lent Ramadan, shun religious rivalry puts, here, common good first. Kegama tells Nigerians. Kekere Ekun to inaugurate new Supreme Court Justice Oyewole February 25. That's on Wednesday. It has a picture, by the way, of the Chief Justice of Nigeria. Terrorism. APC government has demonstrated incompetence to protect Nigerians. Hashim. On page 9 is where you read up those details. Armed man shot dead after breaking into Trump Trump's resorts. This story broke yesterday, really. And then you're wondering, what could an armed man be doing breaking into the U.S. president's resorts? And you know, the rules of engagement for U.S. Security Service is very clear on things like this. A few years ago, there was a story of how a lady was said to be reversing a car in front of the White House in such a way that it was an infraction on the protocol, and instantly she was shot dead behind the steering wheel. This is pathetic. But while that was being debated, I'm afraid we may not be able to do the same with these, because first it's established that this was an armed man, and you were breaking into, not walking through the gate, breaking into the president's resorts.
I mean, what was he thinking for a country?
Right, and what was the goal? Right, these are very sensitive times, so we've got to be careful. All right, because there are consequences for action. Electoral Act has made polls in Nigeria better. That's credited to the National Assembly. The writers here say reviews how Parliament engaged AGF, INEC, CSOs, development partners for 2 years before enactment of law. Says e-transmission of election results, use of beavers for accreditation, now mandatory. CBCN to National Assembly respects Nigerians' will. Decline in voter turnout says a lot about citizens' trust in the electoral process. Quite true. Adamawa, 3 soldiers, woman killed, school burned. That's again another sad story regarding the level of insecurity in our dear nation. Uni Abuja expels 28 students over forgery, courtesan, exam malpractice, others. All right, says withdraws certificates of 15 ex-students.
This story reminded me of one of my classmates then in school. I think we're in 400 level. My school is 5 years.
Right.
So it was 5 years. So we're in 400 level, and all of a sudden we heard a friend of ours, a colleague, a classmate of ours has been expelled, and we asked why. What happened? And the story was he had this girlfriend in school, and somehow there's this guy disturbing the girlfriend, and then he teamed up with some of the friends in the area in the hood, and they went to the toy gun to go and threaten.
Toy gun.
They just took a toy gun to this said guy's house, and threatened him with a toy gun, and somehow. In the midst of the whole threat, I think vigilantes just the guy was screaming for help or so. Vigilantes got to know about it. They took the matter to the police station, and some of the school authorities got to know about it. And they invited them over, and it led to an expulsion.
For a toy gun.
For a toy gun.
So protect his girlfriend.
Protect his girlfriend, and the girl was not expelled. The girl was suspended for I think a session or so. But the guys, 2 of them, him and his friend.
So at worst, the girl got a 1 year spiel.
A 1 year spiel.
But he was sent out of school.
He was one of the, I think it was our departmental president or so then. He was one of our best students then. But you just imagine, we went 400, spent 4 years in school.
Quite
just
painful.
Lost it to, some kind of youthful exuberance. So I'm just saying this to just point out the fact that this could have been some kind of youthful exuberance.
Right.
Some kind
Taking
of,
too far.
Taking too far. You just want to belong because some other person is doing this. You just want to feel among. You don't feel like a big boy. Well, it doesn't make you a big boy indeed at the end of the day. So
if anything, it makes him smaller.
It makes you smaller because now you have been demoted.
Right.
Literally.
Demotion indeed. All right, let's take a look at a few more headlines for you from the New Telegraph this morning, everyone. Here it says $6.2 million arbitration, Nigeria floors European tech giants. That headline has a writer with it. Says Trump's 15% global tariff hike will put more pressure on developing economies. That's according to OPSN, Organized Private Sector of Nigeria. All right. What's more, Tinubu congratulates winners of FCT polls, Rivers, Kano by elections. A few writers with that headline. And then, of course, the details are on pages 2, 3, 5, 7, and 8. Lastly, my favorite part of the New Telegraph, sweetened drinks linked to higher anxiety in teens. Sweetened drinks linked to higher anxiety in teens. That's according to a study where you'll find the details on page 28.
Well, should we start?
So teenagers need to be careful.
We need to start taking bitter leaf water, the juice.
Well, who knows? At least to augment.
To augment.
Yes, or to water down the adverse impact of sweetened drinks.
You seem to know a lot about sweetened drinks.
Well, I don't. I don't want the NMA and the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria to come for me. But quite frankly, I think we need to also watch. I'll give you an example. So yesterday I got a bottle of soda, and my wife says, "No way, you are not having this. I don't want to be running from pillar to post when you're old."
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
So it makes you feel as a man, ego says, you feel like, am I a child? But the question is, should you not be accountable? So there's a lot of work for parents. There's a lot of work for as it were now, young adults as well. You must be able to find a reason to understand your health is your wealth. If you bungle it, you are probably not going to be fortunate enough to have a second chance at life.
Yeah, all those things just come to play when you start aging.
Right.
You wouldn't really know the repercussion of all of it now until you get to that age where you are incapable.
Right.
You just have to be taken care of by one person, and sometimes you may not be so lucky to have the right person around you to do all of that.
Yeah.
So you must live right. Now we go to the Guardian.
Guardian newspapers are an export of call.
Okay. So, first story, CDS, we can achieve intel stability via controlled rehabilitation of terrorists. Details on page 4. Anxiety as 25 oil blocks expire amid new executive order. Details on page 4. Soldiers foil Boko Haram attack, kill 29 in Borno, Yobe. Another sad one. Details on page 4. So the Star story, uncertainty trails future of shea nuts exports as 6-month ban ends. Okay, let's see how that unfolds with the end of the ban. Activist kicks as Plateau sponsors. Plateau sponsors Pilgrim with 7.48 billion naira. That detail is on page 9. Uni Abuja expels 28 students, revokes certificate of 15 alumni. That's serious. Why?
Maybe they had done background checks.
Wow. This is really sad.
It is.
You don't
who knows when these persons were issued those certificates, for how long they've been working. I mean, for those who may have been working, and now what happens going forward? It means, it's a summary. It's just summarily saying you never went to university.
Well, if it's not on the case of maybe malpractice
or forgery,
I really don't think this is fair. Because you would have to examine if this person is still doing that thing that you're accusing the person of, because all things are supposed to be passed away.
No, if it's the case, if it's in the area of malpractice, you need to now ask yourself, has it been established, and how long ago was this alleged malpractice perpetrated or committed? We have to look at that, because in law, I understand that there's something called a status barment, where, for example, there are some matters you can't bring to court after 10 years, no matter how grievous those offenses or those allegations, where after a 10-year window closes, you're done and dusted. You can't bring up those issues again in any court in the world. There's that. Then if it's a case of forgery, at what point was he found out that they were those certificates were forged? But again, there's no time lag in that regard, because we have seen, for exple, where a minister in this country was said to have forged a degree from, there was in NYC. The most recent that we know of was the one that was involved a minister in this government from Enugu State, which was said to have happened sometime in the 80s. This is more than 3 decades ago, close to 4 decades, and he was said to have resigned. And then, of course, as it stands right now, we hear the ICPC is on that matter. But the question is, who petitioned the ICPC? Was it the government? Was it a citizen, like a private citizen? Was it the university he claimed to have attended? Because from what we understand, he did go to the university, but he had a particular course that became a nightmare for him, which he had written about 3 times and continued to fail. And this was in the sciences and things like that. So I'm saying that to say that even if it was 5-6 decades ago, the university, upon establishing that there was sharp practice in how that certificate was obtained, can revoke it. But like you said, if it's something that had to do with cultism, for example, of course, it's baseless.
Or drugs.
That's why we have to read the details.
Oh, yeah, that's why we have to read the details to find out. Okay, next story. Nigeria loses $6 billion yearly to cargo diversion over high airport charges. Details on page 5. NAFDAC seizes ban fake cosmetics worth 3 billion naira in Lagos. Details on page 9. Low turnout, electoral reform backlash, shadow APC's FCT sweep. And that is having a picture of the INEC chairman, Professor Joash Amopitan. You want to find out details on page 6. New research pushes back failed state tag of Africa's pre-colonial states. Details on page 5. Dangote opens refinery shareholding to Nigerians, sets 4-month timeline. Okay, this is good news. You want to find out details to grab your own share. On page 5, those are your headlines for the Guardian newspaper. The next point of call is the Daily Trust. All
right, so let's take you right there to the Daily Trust real quick, everyone. All right, top right corner, first of all, here, it says to us, Electoral Act raises presidential campaign expenses to 10 billion naira. I hope politicians are happy now. Concerns over voter apathy in FCT Rivers Kano elections. 12 killed in fresh Plateau attacks. The big one, 2025 budget, capital without cash. That's quite ironic, but it is what it is now. Bandits to KB villagers pay us. Let's see what that says, quite frankly, but it's dramatic. It says, bandits to KB villagers pay us 100 million naira or we attack you. On page 5, the question is, will the authorities allow this happen, especially in this day and age where bandits and other criminal elements are no longer afraid? They are now so fearless that they can notify potential victims.
Where did this conversation happen? Did it happen on air? Did it happen on TV?
Well, we hear that they text them, they call them. Yes. Wow. In some cases, they write them. I've had a young man on my show sometime in 2024 who said that, look, he lives in Abuja. I mean, he has people who live in Abuja. His school's in ABU's area. But his parents are in the village, somewhere in northwest of Nigeria. That he knows people who live in Abuja, work here, they have their families here. They have to send money home, sort of monthly remittance, for their parents to be able to settle bandits just so they can have access to their farmlands. He said that, yes, on I think scale of justice it was. So we have heard these stories time and again, but I mean, is that really shocking, Priscilla? We've heard in this country where even the governor of Borno State had come out to say a certain local government had been taken over by bandits.
A certain local government.
Yes, all right. We have seen where in some cases up to 2, 3, I mean, multiple local governments are taken over by bandits, collecting taxes, promising the people of these communities across these local government areas protection.
Wow, that's serious. Well, yes. The thing is, we can never get to a point where...
I didn't mention that in some cases they even hoisted their flags.
Wow.
We are saying this to say that there's a whole lot of work to be done. It's not just, I mean, beyond the pathetic reality that lives are being lost on a daily basis, it's now becoming an image problem. It's now becoming so embarrassing and nasty. It gives the impression that we're helpless. I think that should deeply give us concern.
It is concerning. And I don't think there should ever come a point where it becomes normal. It should always be a taboo. When you hear it, there's this annoyance.
Makes you flinch.
Exactly. But it is sad. It is sad.
It really is. Well, those are the headlines you'll find on the Daily Trust today. We do hope you do well by reading up details for yourself. Next is the Daily Sun newspaper.
Okay, so on the Daily Sun, beside the nameplate, we have Catholic bishops angry with NAS over Electoral Act provisions. A writer there says, demand review of amended 2026 electoral law. I was wondering, is there a possibility of any amendment? Can that be by any chance?
again, there's no law that's cast in concrete. The question is, will that happen before 2027?
Exactly.
I can almost beat my chest with both hands and say no.
Because we still see Nigerians calling for protests amidst the whole reform, saying this is not what we wanted. Yes,
we wanted real-time online transmission,
and there's still the protest. So, by any chance, can there even be a situation where the Senate president is touched somehow by the protest and say, I think I need to. Let
me rally my colleagues and let's see what we can do about this.
Exactly.
Well, maybe that will be towards 2031.
2031.
Right.
So, are you indirectly saying?
So let's say the protesters are starting early.
Are you? Oh, okay, they're not wasting their time, right?
No, they're starting early.
They're starting early.
Right.
Okay, let's see how that goes. Next story, AICFTA. Nigeria's preparations shocky. Risk being dumping ground, experts warn. List poor testing labs, costly certification for SMEs, funding constraints as challenges. The big story, convention, APC may settle for consensus agreement. Of course, what do you expect as governors move to take charge of preparations? Okay, details on page 26. Well, there's this beautiful unity that used to that you will always find in the ruling party. They're just always united until another party takes over, and then that looks as if there was some hidden war somewhere. Or
before now,
you don't know where it just comes from. But when they're ruling, there's unity. You just admire them and want to belong.
But isn't that how politics is generally? They say the only thing that unites politicians over time is interest. So at that point in time, I mean, that's why you realize that. You look at a state like mine, Edo, for example. Obaseki was in government for 8 years, just like Oshomole was for 8 years. When Obaseki was in government, for the first 4 years was in APC, even though for half of that time he had his own bad energy with his predecessor and estranged godfather, Oshomole. So by 2020, he had moved to the PDP and he was going to be there for another 4 years as a governor, right? Now, there are people who served with him all through, right from day one till he left office. Now, some of those people, I can't put a finger on what the number is, have left the PDP. They are now in the APC. In fact, some of them had actually left the APC for the PDP. Now they are back to the APC. They are now condemning that government as though they never benefited from it, just because they now identify with the APC. And that's why most times you find that politicians are not taken seriously.
Actually, because, I mean, let's go to the next story. Coal money oil field still in limbo 4 years after flag off. Okay, details on page 21. Ahamba Wazurike, others back Eze Agubuzo's plea for Kanu's release. Fake pregnancy. That is quite creative. You find that detail on page 4. Tinubu hails APC victory in FCT. Kanu River polls. Urges winners to cherish sacred trust. Please, I join the president to also plea. Those are your headlines for the day.
And incidentally, that's what we're leaving it with the papers this morning, everyone, with Priscilla wrapping up for us on the Daily Sun newspaper this morning. As always, this is where we encourage you to be sure you take initiative to read up details of these headlines for yourself, as we remind you that Global Television, as a broadcast media entity, or the team here on Global Morning, does not in any way contribute to whether the headlines or the details of the headlines. We just bring you those headlines as published by their respective publishers. We'll take a break now. When we return, it will be time to join Ogochukwu Mobuno on Social Bars. Up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television. When social media speaks, we'll listen and we'll bring you the extra. It's your one-stop show for trends, and the tea everyone's sipping. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and get the extra dose of what's shaking the internet.
And issues making wave on social media to your doorstep.
Social Buzz Extra, where the trend meets the talk, only on Global Television.
Good morning, Nigerians, and good morning, viewers all around the world. It's time to look at buzzing issues making rounds on social media. It's a new week and, of course, the last week in the month of February 2026. What are we looking at today? It is so sad the extent people go just to make money. NDLA has busted a Kano-based businesswoman with drugs hidden in fake pregnancy. Operatives of the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have foiled bizarre plot by a female drug trafficker, Rabi Muhammad, to move tramadol hidden in fake baby bump through the Seme land border in Lagos. Rabi, a 35-year-old Kano-based businesswoman, was intercepted by NDLEA officers at the departure tarmac of Seme land border with a protruding tummy on Monday, 16 February 2026, while attempting to cross the Cotonou in Benin Republic. The spokesperson of the agency, Femi Babafemi, disclosed this in a statement on Sunday, February 22nd February. A full-body search, however, revealed the absurd. Her pregnancy was fake and her baby bump was designed with a pink-colored calabash used to conceal 3,200 capsules of tramadol, which she tied around her stomach and was taken to Cotonou to sell. That's what the statement reads. Well, I'd like us to take a look at the video. It's a very short clip, but that was when she was intercepted, and you could see the NDLA officers trying to unwrap whatever it is she wrapped around her tummy. Let's take a look at that video.
Where are you coming from? It's there also. Pregnant. So she's saying it in my video. Yes,
It's more like a relief, you know. You could see from her facial expression when they, removed that calabash, untie everything from her body. It was more like, oh, you know what? I'm relieved at this point, but at the same time, I'm in soup. That's what it looks like. Well, we do not have comments concerning this particular story today, because a lot of the comments were, they were trying to blame one religion, one state or the other. So we don't take such comments here on Global Television. So we are going to be discussing about this particular issue on the ground. And yes, I have with me Priscilla Obasi. Good morning, Priscilla.
Good morning, Ogochukwu.
How was your weekend? It was a long weekend, I know, because you all were here in the studio for the FCT polls. Yeah. Yes. All right, well done. So we're talking about the NDLEA, intercepting this woman who faked a pregnancy just to carry tramadol, worth over 3,200 kilograms of tramadol. What do you think about this?
Well, it's quite a sad one. I really feel pity for her because I just imagine the kind of soup she is in. I mean, she's in deep soup, as you say, and the whole comedy around her feeling relief. Is there anything like relief at this point for her? Because
no, the weight she was carrying was weighing her down.
Of course, but then I'd love to say, and I'd love to point out the fact that people should stop this. Like you don't have to do this. And you that is there doing your legit business, stop be feeling intimidated by people, because you don't know what it is that is going on behind the scenes of their life, right? So stop the unnecessary pressure you put on yourself. Stop comparing yourself with people. You hear it over and over and over again, but somehow the quest for money is there before you, and you feel like you want to do anything. You just want to feel depressed. In your depressed state, you cannot even achieve so much. So do not compare yourselves to people, because you really don't know what they do. For this woman, I know the law is going to take course, in the midst of this whole thing. I know people will be shocked. The fact that she is putting on a hijab and everything. You say, this woman looks all, she looks like a saint. You will not even suspect. Kudos to the team that intercepted this, because it takes a lot of intelligence to be able to boldly confront such a person. You get it. So it takes intelligence to have confronted her. I hope this beautiful work goes on, and we end drug abuse in Nigeria. We cannot in any way condone it. The harm it does to the society, the harm it does to our youths, it makes them unproductive. You feel like you're taking drugs to get high, but you are depreciating in every aspect. Your brain is being lowered. Everything about you is dropping. So say no to drugs. Nigerian youths, anyone that is involved in drugs, say no to drugs. There's so much capabilities that God has given to you. Your brain is, you cannot compare it. It's a machine. Yes, you can utilize it. You can be productive with it. You can make all the wealth you want to make with it, if only you know how to be patient, if you know how to use it productively. It's a sad one, really. It is.
Well, to add to that, like you highlighted earlier, you said it takes a lot of intelligence. And I must tell you that of recent times, you've seen the NDLEA really working so hard. I must say that kudos to the NDLEA. Like, I have to see, I see that story like almost every week, intercepting one drug baron or the other, one group or the other, and it's really a lot to do that. They are all working so hard. So yes, kudos to them. And again, just to add, again to this, whatever it is you have said, earlier just before we came on the show, I was saying that, these people most times, they really have genuine business, but you don't even know what is funding the business. So things like this are the ones funding the business. If you check closely, or if you do your further investigation, we'll find out that this woman, maybe she deals on fabrics, or she deals on gold or something or the other, but you don't know what exactly is funding the business.
They'll come out all glamorous.
Yes, all glamorous. So please try not to envy anyone. Work at your own pace, the way you can. Everybody blooms at different times. Flowers don't bloom together at the same time. Some bloom at night, while some bloom in the daytime, some in the afternoon, scorching sun. So you really can't tell. So please, let's all focus on our business and don't put our hands on crime, because
people that do this business mostly try to normalize it to the buyers. They try to make it look like it's no big deal. It's just something to get you more excited, to achieve more. They paint it in a way that entices you. You feel like it's something you're buying to make yourself better. But at the end of the day, you are really destroying your life by using drugs, and even by going into the business, because some of them don't use it, they just do the business. But is it even possible? Because sometimes you want to taste your product.
Yeah, you talk about tasting your product.
So,
anyway.
Please say no to drugs by all means.
By all means.
The selling, the drinking, every part of it, every aspect. Say no to drugs.
Yes, because every day for the thief and one day for the owner of the house, for NDLA and their people. Thank you so much, Priscilla, for your contribution to today's topic. I really kind of enjoyed every part of your contribution. I hope you also heard. Please stay away from drugs by all means. Anything you do, try to make sure that whatever it is you're doing is genuine, is legal, not illegal, okay? All right, this is where we close the curtains for Social Buzz here on Global Morning. And I'll be leaving you in the hands of Priscilla and Uyi as they usher us into the discussion section of Global Morning. Of course, we have a lot to say, so stay with us. Good morning once again, Nigerians and viewers around the world. I am Ogochukwu Mobno. Bye for now.
When social media speaks, we'll listen and we'll bring you the extra. It's your one-stop show for trends, truths, and the tea everyone's sipping. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and get the extra dose of what's shaking the internet.
And on issues making wave on social media to your doorstep.
Social Buzz Extra, where the trend meets the talk, only on Global Television.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all. From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Hello and welcome. Over the next 24 hours, visibility is expected to gradually improve across most parts of the country. However, slight dust haze will persist over much of the northern and central region. In Borno and Yobe states, moderate dust haze may reduce horizontal visibility to between 2 and 5 kilometers. Residents in these areas are advised to take necessary precautions. Meanwhile, moisture continues to dominate the southern region of the country, supporting partly cloudy skies. Inland cities may experience slight haziness along the coast, including parts of Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Rivers, some parts of Edo Delta, Ondo, Ogun, Lagos State. There is a good chance of isolated thunderstorms. Coastal residents should stay alert for rain showers and possible lightning. And that's your weather outlook for Monday. Stay informed and stay safe. I am Joyce Ogunleye, and I'll see you again.
Are we good? Well, thank you so very much, everyone, for staying with us here on the program. I just will quickly continue the conversation we're having this morning about opposition politics for you. Basically, of course, we're talking about the APC and the ADC, the ADC and the PDP on the one hand, and the APC being the ruling party. One of the things we highlighted a while ago for you was that as it stands today, the elections from Saturday have now again become a pointer to what we should expect in 2027 and beyond. And Priscilla asked a very, well, you might say hilarious, but very pivotal question a while ago, whether or not there will still be the chance to alter these electoral acts as it stands today. Well, what can we say? It's too close to the election.
If the people apply more pressure.
Yeah, you see, pressure may not do that magic, so to speak, because we remember some years ago in 2019, the excuse for not signing the Electoral Act into law was that it was too close to the election. But now...
we had something being signed into just a week before election, so we don't have such an excuse. We shouldn't have such an excuse.
Well, how about political interests?
It shouldn't be political interests. Right now, it should be democracy, what the people want, right? Because it will not be a good thing in the face of Nigerian or in the face of the other world, you know, viewing Nigerians as people that like to protest. Every time now and again, you see us on the streets holding placards, holding this, holding that, and then you find out people from the US looking at Nigerians. I don't understand how, you know, a Tinubu will feel about that. I don't understand how our leaders will feel about that. So if we have more and more of this protest back to back, and people saying no, we no go agree, and we are being viewed all over the world as protesters, people, how does it tell? What does it tell about the government? Do you think it's something they want to really see? Because you don't want to, no matter how you try to scare these people, they are bent on changing the narrative for 2027. They don't want a repeated occurrence, what happened in 2023. Yes. So to them, it is a do or die affair. To them, it is, no, we don't agree. We saw you guys play prank with us 2023. You guys assured us that everything was going to be fine, and then everything happened the way it did. So I don't think they are going to relent, really. I don't see them relenting. They might pull back a bit and still resurface before the 2027 election. So the earlier they do this, they just have to look into it some way, just to make the people happy.
I can imagine. Well, you see, again, elections are about the people, but I don't think politicians share that position, because in the final analysis, it's always about winning for politicians. You know, when you listen to a lot of those who are neck deep into politics talk, they talk to you about how that people should understand that when it comes to elections, the goal is to win. And if you can't break the rules, you can bend them a little just to ensure that you win. And for the other parties that didn't quite win this time, whether it's the ADC, APGA, ZLP, and sometimes it's almost impossible to remember there are those parties in the mix, but they are part of the opposition mix. All right, that those parties should know that the APC prepared to win, but these other parties only prepared to contest. And you're wondering, where is that distinction coming from?
So you mean they did not prepare to win?
They were just wanted to be in the contest.
What does it take? What does it mean to prepare to win? Is the question. Do you mean that, you know, you have to go?
No, it's not my thinking. It is what members of the APC, would always tell you that the APC was prepared to win from the get-go. They put in the work, they strategized, they did their forecasts, they projected, and the results now speak for themselves.
The question now is, how ethical was that preparation? Was it a preparation that would turn preparation in every sense, in every sensible...
Or was it just sheer necessity?
Exactly, because I spoke to one APC member, and one of the things he said was, "Oh, we didn't even have enough resources, so we couldn't even share money." So it was free and fair in that sense, because we couldn't share money to convince people, and at the end of the day was the reason why there was a low turnout, because people did not see money.
They couldn't share money
to come out. So for him, that was what made it free and fair. It's quite funny now, though.
But it's not interesting. They couldn't share money.
They couldn't share money, so it was free and fair.
Right.
People didn't come to collect money.
So people voted organically.
Organically.
They voted their conscience.
Exactly. The people that came out voted because they were opportune to get the money, and someone else didn't get. So we say that.
but you know, quite frankly,
because we cannot take away money sharing from Nigerian politics.
At this point, right?
No matter how we try to deny it, there has to be a share. So people have even said sharing money is is not rigging. Sharing money is just gifting.
You're trying to compensate them for coming out in the sun, in the rain.
Yeah, it's just the
distance, the inconvenience.
Exactly. So what is sharing money? What is rigging? What we call rigging right now is when you get to the collation centers, and then people start to inflate, because that's the only definition of rigging. Any other thing is, part of our system. It's solving hunger. Solving hunger is not rigging.
Okay, here's the thing. Here's how I say it, quite frankly, right? It has to do with when you normalize the wrong things, right? Because we have been able to do these things the wrong way for a long time, you are naturally going to find a good number of people who put up defense every time we discuss these things. You talked about whether or not the winnings are ethical. The sad thing, or the sad reality we're grappling with now, is that there are people who still believe that no matter what the process was like, the important thing is we won, or they won, whatever the case may be, all right? Because the idea that the end justifies the means for many people has come to stay. So it has stuck in their heads. So there's next to nothing you can do about that. However, we must ask ourselves, can you induce, because I think that's the euphemistic term for vote buying, all right, can you induce voters and still say such a process was free and fair, whether it was onions you gave to them, whether it was rice, whether it was cash, or whether it was maybe you handing them packs of lunch and drinks? Because we had seen in elections where that had happened in the past, where a political party or some political parties will come with drinks, will come with food, and say, well, we are not inducing voters. We are not trying to bribe or influence them. What we're doing is was simply just, recognizing the fact that they've been in the sun for a long time. They need to refresh while they're waiting to get accredited or cast their vote and things like that. I think that stopped at the point, even though we see here once in a while that in rural areas it happens. But in all, the question has been asked whether INEC can really supervise elections. And we must be honest enough with ourselves to answer that question very dispassionately. Can INEC monitor elections? Does INEC even have the capacity, the resources to be able to, as it were, enforce its own guidelines? In practical terms, in terms of making it happen on the ground, not just on the paper, not just based on what you tell journalists during press briefings. Can INEC enforce its own guidelines?
Well, I really don't think INEC is even doing so much. I think more of what we're seeing is the people saying no. We will not agree to all these things we used to know. We do not agree to malpractices. It's more of opposition, or it's more of people coming out to say we don't want a mess in the system again. Not even INEC, if you ask me. Basically, because most of these materials on that election day went to venues late, as it was reported. There were still anomalies. There were still things that would there are still things that you will look at and say, because of this thing, people can infiltrate the system. Bad guys can infiltrate the system, can come and mess things up, can come and just take advantage of the funny situations or the delays. But in the midst of it, you see Nigerians standing still, waiting for results to be counted. Unlike what we used to have before you just cast your vote, a lot of people will go back. But a good number of people now will wait at polling units to see that they see to the end of the process. So it's more of Nigerians monitoring their votes now. And really, I would give it to, the process, because whether we like it or not, election malpractices has dropped. It may not have reduced even a 50%, but we have seen a drop. It is now more difficult, especially in the urban centers, urban areas. It will now be left to the political parties now that are really interested, the opposition at the forefront, to say that they take the same habits even to the rural communities. They take the same habits to those villages, because it's not just about the cities. These elections was mostly, in the heart of Abuja and all of that, and that's where we basically were able to monitor. How about the Zangas? The Zangas, how about those villages? So they need to come up with strategies. Like you mentioned, APC strategized to win the elections. For you to be able to emerge winner, you have to aim at winning. You have to strategize, not just to participate in the elections, but to win. So political parties must really up their games when it comes to being strategic, especially in rural communities. So far, so good, I would say, but a lot more has to be done.
Right, sure, of course, a lot more has to be done. And for a second, you're asking yourself, if this election has not, as we now know, gone in favor of the APC, what would have happened to the way Mr. Nyesom Wike is assessed? Because whether you like it or not, he has been more like a very pivotal factor in this election. In fact, I can almost assure you that the APC had largely banked on him to be able to deliver the goods. And as it stands right now, those goods, courtesy of him for the most part, of course, nobody can do this alone, has now been delivered. And they say he has also made effort to persuade people from other parties to, as it were, step back, withdraw their candidacy in support of the candidates of the APC. Maybe that's again had contributed to the successes that the ruling party had recorded in this election.
Exactly. I would also agree with that because I was going to ask, how did he even make it? How did he make? Is he supposed to make them win in the first place? It's not the people that are supposed to people's votes.
But what if he was able to go around enough to convince the people?
But we saw Nyesom Wike coming into this whole thing at the dying minute. Over all the time, he was busy with Rivers politics. So we just saw him, towards the end of the campaign. A lot of them were complaining, where is Nyesom Wike? We're not seeing him. He's busy with Rivers State. But at the dying minute where he came, I think he was able to do a little, which I feel would have been able to do more. But then they won. Right. They won eventually. So, I mean, at the end of the day, that is what they want to see. But Nyesom Wike convincing candidates to step down for the APC will go a long way to tell you how there are so many sabotages in the system. Yeah, because why would a PDP member decide to step down, knowing fully well that Nyesom Wike is someone that has been expelled? I don't know. In the PDP? In the PDP.
But the man says he has not been expelled.
They say that he's been notified. But we have heard, we have seen it. Whatever the court's ruling is right now, we're not even keeping tabs with it because every day you hear this and hear that. But at least at some point he was expelled. So that should say to every PDP member, be careful if you are really a PDP member. Right. So why do you want to align with someone that has been tagged an enemy of the party?
Somebody who is supposed to be persona non grata.
Exactly, and then decide to make decisions based on what he has advised to step down. So it's really a dicey one, and it calls for more carefulness from the PDP, if you ask me, because I mean, politics at the end of the day, everybody is looking for their interest. I don't know what he was giving, or such members or such candidates were given to step down. I don't know how they were convinced to step down, but you would just tell that after the stepping down process will come a defection. Right. Because I'm stepping down for you. I'm not just stepping down. I know that somehow you've promised something to me, and I cannot benefit. You
scratch my back, I scratch your back.
Exactly. I can only benefit when I go over. So we see more defections coming again, as I first highlighted or suspected. Yeah. Quite
interesting. This morning, one of the headlines from the Vanguard newspaper is saying that, with a ride, I should say, a kicker, Catholic bishops to federal government and Nigeria's bloodshed guarantee credible 2027 polls. Now, the Catholic bishops of Nigeria apparently are tying the success of 2027 election to ending insecurity in Nigeria. If you remember, in 2015, we had to move election by a couple of weeks because we thought the North, especially the Northeast, was going to be challenging for you to conduct elections, especially states like Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa. But no matter how you look at it, across the country today, there is a certain level of insecurity. You may say it's worse in some parts, but there's a certain level of insecurity playing out in virtually every state in Nigeria today. If it's not insurgency, as we know it, it's bandits. If it's not bandits, it's a non-gun man. If it's not a non-gun man, it's kidnapping. If it's not kidnapping, it's just some sort of senseless killings in certain parts of the country. And then you are asking, if this continues, and God forbid increases, right, or gets worse, will it be human for you to be conducting elections under such circumstance in those conditions?
Well, the answer is a capital no, because this was an election that was, just basically conducted in some specific areas. Right. Some of these areas, of course, the FCT, we had one in Kano State, which involved just 2 local governments, and we had in Rivers State, and they were just minor elections, if you ask me. Didn't really need people to come out from their, from their villages,
right,
from those very conk parts where insecurity has really messed up such states. It really didn't touch such parts of Nigeria. But in 2027, we'll have a holistic view to this thing. We need to really have a holistic view to this thing. It's part of the things that INEC should start doing already. Yeah, start making sure. And if we had electronic voting, I mean, we'll not be talking about this thing. These are part of the things that we need to include in our reform. We'll consider that at such a day, some people can be incapacitated. At such a day, some people can. Do they even consider the people with disabilities in this whole thing? Because you tell us no movement.
Right.
You tell us you don't consider this thing. So elections should really highlight, or our electoral process should be all-encompassing, should carry everybody along. Yeah, so 2027 is not going to be business as usual. It's not going to be like every election, the elections we've had in previous years, basically because things have changed. Insecurity has gotten worse. We hope it stops. The prayer is that it stops even today. That is what we want. But we have not seen it stop, and we must keep acting in that regard until it eventually stops. So the INEC chairman must consider these things, right? Before you fix an election day, before you fix the whole approach to elections, understand the fact that there are people that cannot leave their houses. So what happens to them? Will they not vote? Would I come out to risk my life because I am voting? We don't even know what these bandits would use that season to want to do. Because people travel, there are people that travel because of elections. They travel basically because their polling units are in their state, and maybe they are in a city like Abuja. You want to go back to your village to go and exercise your own franchise. So will people still travel? Is the question, because I don't want to risk my life for this thing. So it's either they say polling units or people should have their PVCs, or cards should be transferred to your polling unit very close to your house, and make the process seamless. Yes, make it online, make it seamless, start it already. So that at that point people don't have any excuses. Start to ensure it put it in as a rule, as a law, so that elections 2027, people know that I have my PVCs with me. I just wake up in the morning, go to the next polling unit by my street, and I'm able to cast my vote, right? So these things are things that should be spoken about already, so that we don't have 2027 come and we start hearing stories back and forth. Someone like me, I got a text from INEC a day before elections, and I've been hearing that other people got that. My polling unit was changed. And I'm getting that text a day before elections. How does it make sense? You should have sent this text at least a month before, or even a week before. Why a day before? People also made such complaints. Getting text from INEC a day before elections. It doesn't make sense.
Well, notice was too close, right?
It's too close.
Just for those who don't know, Priscilla Abasi is a patriotic Nigerian. She wants to see an electoral process that works for us all, free, fair, credible, and transparent. Well, again, those will be some elements in our conversation as we make progress. We take a break now. When we return, we'll join our guest in our live studio. Do stay with us. Up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning.
For the latest issues,
Always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Let's turn to opposition politics proper for you this morning. Even politicians themselves, including those who are in the ruling party, say that without vibrant opposition, there's next to nothing we can do regarding democracy that is functional, the kind of democracy that is forward-thinking and does deliver the goods. To help us have this conversation this morning, we're joined by not just a member of the People's Democratic Party, but is a member of People's Democratic Party National Caretaker Committee, Dr. Grema Kiari. Would like to say a big thank you to you for coming on the program.
Thank you so much. Morning, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Great. I'd like us to start from Saturday. I wouldn't know how your weekend went, but let's talk about the election of Saturday. Well, the PDP did win at least one area council in Abuja, which is Gwagwalada, I understand. Right. When you look at the outcome, as a member of the opposition party, a senior member of the PDP, for example, what was your assessment?
Yeah, it was okay. You know, things have changed. Politics in Nigeria have taken a different direction. Different direction in the sense that, you know, there are cross-party collaborations, of course, alignment of interests. You know, so many things have come on board. And because of that, people need to understand what is happening. And for us in PDP, we thank God, yes. Of course, our national leader, who is the FCT minister, even the president himself has sent a very strong message for him, commending his own efforts. And of course, he said the dividend of democracy in the FCT has yielded positive results to the president. The president have said that himself, you understand, through his spokesperson. You know, this is to tell you that, yes, the directions of the politics have changed in this country, and of course people need to understand, people need to see beyond their thinking, beyond their nose. Of course, what is happening is really indeed is moving the country forward.
Interesting. I'm asking you that now because it seems you have one leg here, the other leg there. Are you happy the APC won overwhelmingly? Or are you concerned that your party, the PDP, could only go home with one area council?
You know, in politics, just like labor unionism, you know, politics, you know, nowadays, that's what they call, what we call, you know, consensus building. You understand? Of course, and that is what we call, you know, give and take. You know, what has happened on Saturday, you know, before free election, there are pre-election activities, you know, there are a lot of, you know, engagements, you know, realignment of interests, and that is what gave birth to, you know, this outcome. If you see, we in PDP, we have one area council, Gwagwalada, and, you know, this is a very good effort, and as well, our principal, who is the FCT minister, of course, he has done well because what he did, of course, is the people wish. You know, that's why I said that the realignment of interest is very, very key in what is happening in modern democracy, particularly in Nigeria.
So modern democracy is part of you having two factions of a party.
No, faction. You know, as far as PDP is concerned, we have only one faction.
But we still have the other faction.
No, that faction that I don't think they exist because they know most of their. I don't think most. You know, most of them even they knew that yes, they are not there because you know the outcome of the Federal High Court in Ibadan. They have nullified the outcome of the convention that took place in Ibadan in November last year, yes. 15, 16 of November last year. They have nullified that, and they went ahead for appeal. And definitely, we are waiting for the judge the appellate court to fix date for the judgment. And I know the outcome is not going to be favorable for them because I see no reason why. Two Federal High Court can stop you from conducting, convention, and you went ahead and you proceeded with a state high court order in Ibadan, and that is the outcome. And I don't think if they can, it's going to be favorable for them. And what is happening is definitely, that's why you can see they are very silent these days, and of course, definitely majority of them, they have started, coming to us. And I believe by the end of maybe within this week, we are going to have a judgment of the appellate courts.
So does the notification of the convention automatically confer the position of national leadership on Wike? Of
course, because you can see that when INEC invited our national chairman, Honorable Abdurrahman Mohamed, and the national secretary, distinguished Senator Samuel Anyang, the INEC invited the two leadership for a quarterly meeting of INEC, and everybody has seen in this country, so all over the media. And that can attest to you that, yes, Kabiru Turaki led faction. As far as we are concerned, there are no more anywhere. It's only we don't have a faction in PDP now. We have only one PDP under the able leadership of Honorable Abdurrahman Mohamed and distinguished Senator Samuel Anyang.
I just want to ask you this real quick. In practice, beyond principle and nomenclature, do we have a People's Democratic Party as it stands today, or we just have an extension of the APC? That's number one. Number two is politics is about numbers. And that's the reason the APC is happy that governors are defecting, members of the National Assembly are defecting into its fold, especially as 2027 draws near. In your case, you have a faction led by Turaki SAN, where you have the governor of Oyo State, you have the governor of Bauchi State, you have other influential members of the party, some of them foundational members of the PDP, for example. Yes. Is that not the PDP becoming like the snake that eats its own tail?
No, it's not like that. They are coming to us. Some of them, they must come to us because...
In a Nicodemus style?
No. Within this week, definitely, or next week, highest, we are going to have the judgment. And judgment is going to favor us. So if this thing happens, something like that happens, definitely they must be with us, or the party will take action on them. Because there's no way in a situation whereby if we have a judgment from the appellate court, and then the appellate court says, yes, you proceed, the judgment favor us, and they continue remain in the faction. It doesn't work like that. They must be with us. There's no neutrality. They must be with us, or they go to other party, or they retire from the politics. And that is actually what is going to happen. Just give at least end of this week or next week, you will see definitely the time is going to be fixed, and of course judgment is going to come in our favor.
Okay, the PDP that we know would not be so excited, even if they were able to, emerge winner at one area council. The PDP that we know would, want more. But then we see you being excited at democracy. Is this?
You see. Let me talk on the other people, the ADC, the kind of noise that they've been making before the election. You see, the outcome of the elections, they remain silent now. They are considering themselves, even bigger than opposition than PDP. You see, the outcome of this Saturday fall indicated that they didn't get any chairmanship seat within the 6th area council. They are saying that the PDP is dead, and look at the PDP that they are calling is dead. Now we have one area council, Gogolada. They didn't get single chairmanship out of the 6. And of course, this is the kind of narratives that is going to continue even in 2027 if he has not taken. Because look at the big names, the Atikus, the El-Rufais, Amechis, Peter Obi, all of them, they were in FCT, moving from one place, campaigning for Dr. Mo and the rest. But look at, these are big names, they are all, political heavyweights. But look at the outcome. The person that they campaigning, he couldn't even secure, I think, it's less than 20,000 votes.
So do you think the elections
in the AMAC,
was free and fair indeed?
Of course it's free and fair. It's free and fair. All those people that are making noise in the FCT, they refuse to come out and cast vote. And of course, in social media, you see as if the world is going to be come to an end. They are making a lot of noise, this and that. They don't come to note. Some of them, they don't even have voters cards, of course. And some of them, they don't even go to their own constituency. And they are making a lot of noise in the social media. But if you come to real, activity, you will not see them. And of course, they will not make impacts. And that is what has happened. You see, if Obi, Atiku can raise a hand of more in FCT, that can translate ideally to a very, turnout is going to be very, impressive. But the reverse is the case. We have to ask ourselves, why is it that it is so? Because these people have already lost ground. Of course, they have already started losing popularity within the context of the Nigerian politics, and that's why our national leader, Barrister Nyesom Wike, he has he's a grassroots politician. He had engaged a lot of people. Most of our activities is not can I call it, if you're episodic, it's not action oriented. You understand? People talk much, they do less, and you cannot expect a favorable outcome in the politics. And this is actually what is happening in the case of Peter Obi, Atiku, El-Rufai, Amechi, and the rest. El-Rufai can come out and say, Tinubu will fail in 2027. Tinubu will not succeed. But what we were supposed to ask himself is, or we ask him is there any strategy on ground that can demobilize the kind of effort that APC is doing? No. You hardly see him in other states, only in Abuja and maybe Kaduna. And we have 36 states.
That's El-Rufai.
El-Rufai, he has making a lot of comments in the social media and mainstream media that, Atiku will not succeed, Tinubu will not succeed in 2027. But then we have accepted that. But is there any effort on ground for us to see, yes, what he's saying, is going to, work? No, it's not like that. When you are talking, you're supposed to, put into action. Of course, people need to see, not even seeing, engage people, sit down and discuss with them, mentor them, and then step down some informations, let them also, start reaching out other segment of the, population, so that it's going to be amplified, whatever you want to see. But talking much on media without putting into action, it's not going to be result-oriented. And this is actually what is happening in the side of this new party called ADC.
Okay, so 2027, what do you see as the prospect for PDP? Do you see them emerging even on the presidential level?
Yeah, in 2027, as far as PDP is concerned now, our PDP is now, we are now working to see that, yes, we are going to conduct, congresses in about, 14 states in a couple of weeks. And then next month, 29, 30th, we're going to conduct acceptable convention in Abuja, in Eagle Square. A convention that is acceptable to all members of the party. It's unlike the other one in Ibadan where INEC, didn't even attend. Our own, definitely it is expected that INEC is going to monitor our convention, and of course the outcome of the convention is going to be published in INEC website. That is to tell you that yes, we are law abiding, and of course we are out to see that. As far as issue of presidential candidate and what have you, we didn't come for that, and definitely when the times comes, we'll come out and discuss that on that issue.
Are you possibly teaming up with the APC 2027? Because it's looking
like a merger, right?
This faction of PDP is somehow, in close relationship with the APC government.
That relationship is normal. What is happening is we have to understand that our national leader did well in Rivers State. As a governor, as a Chaco government chairman, as a chief of staff, as a state minister, and then as well as ATS governor. Of course, he has done well. All over the country, people knew about that. They say, okay, if that's the case, Tinubu, when he came into governance in 2023, he said, okay, let me extend my hand to this wonderful man who has done a lot in Rivers State, so that he can, continue doing the good thing in FCT. And that is how he extended the hand of fellowship for him. And of course, this is what is expected of a very good man, president, because irrespective of the political party you have, once elections is over, you have to work with anybody because you are working for Nigeria, you are not working for a particular party. And that's why presently our national leader is working for federal government of Nigeria under the ever leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's not working for APC, but he's working for federal government of Nigeria. You understand?
Okay.
I was going to ask you something, really. As it stands today, with all of these issues around the PDP, pretty much under Wike now becoming subsumed into the APC, would you, I mean, you are a sagacious politician, you've been there for a long time, would you say there is still opposition as we know it in Nigeria today?
Yes, of course.
Who is opposing who, really?
Because if there's no opposition, PDP cannot win in Gwagwalada. It's a clear testament. This is realistic.
So that was not some sort of concession?
It can be. Because it's real. It's PDP. It's not APC. So if somebody can say PDP is not is dead, is no longer an opposition, can you believe? Seeing that PDP with our logo, with everything,
PDP also stepped down for APC candidates in other parts of Abuja. Some
no, it happens in some places, but I'm talking of presently the outcome of the election.
Were those just to buttress what Priscilla is saying, were those decisions sanctioned by the FCT minister?
It's not sanctioned.
In cases where the PDP...
It's understanding.
Were they endorsed by the minister of the FCT?
That is realignment of interest. Of course.
With the endorsement of Mr. Yes or Wike?
It's the realignment of interest. You know, you have to realign your interests, because if you understand that, yes, this Mr. A and Mr. B, irrespective of the political parties, this can perform better. You understand? Okay, so far he is going to perform better. People have confidence in him. Please, you step down for this guy.
Even at different parties.
Of course.
Different parties. But we've never seen it happen in Nigeria.
No, these are new things in politics nowadays.
So there's a new thinking.
Of course, new thinking, new ideas started coming out of body politics, and it's better for the politics. That's why you see in the Sotere Fall, you have not witnessed any violence. It's because it has done in an understanding way, mutually, in a manner of give and take. You understand? When you discover that, yes, because our leader he owns the FC.
Is he supposed to own the FCT?
He's a 001 of FCT.
He's supposed to serve the FCT, not
he's
own the FCT.
001 of FCT. Yes, 001 of FCT, you know? He's 001 of FCT. You see, I'm talking of politics, understand? Politics, if he has understood the dynamics of politics of the FCT.
We're talking democracy. You're also saying there's a new phase of democracy.
Democracy also accept consensus.
Okay.
Of course.
Inter-party consensus.
Intra and inter-party. Of course, if there are certain, as a politician, you can reach certain level where you can be respected by all political parties, and our leader is coming to that level. And even in developed countries, there are people that can reach certain level that, irrespective of political parties, they can come and seek advice from him, because he has already attained a certain level that, yes, he deserves to be, consulted. He deserves to be contacted because of his own political, know-how, and of course, an understanding, and because of his, conflict resolutions mechanism and what have you. You understand? And that's why it is very good for our body quality. You see, on Saturday, people are expecting, on Friday, people are expecting that violence is going to be erupted, and of course we are not saying any, because that is because of what we call cross-party collaborations and of course interest alignment.
You mean cross-party with a faction where you said there are no other?
No.
The Minister of FCT came out to say something just before the elections. He said, do your part and leave the rest for me. Can you explain what that meant?
In politics, it's normal for you to make some statement, you understand? That is normal. Yes.
So what could that mean? What could that have meant? He just felt like...
in psychology, that's what they call fear. At times you have to create fear for your opponent. You know, even if you are going to fight, you can create fear. Not that you are going to fight with him, but you have to create fear that so he cannot come closer to you. It's normal in psychology.
So he was creating fear. In other words,
you know, they will not, they will not think of any other thing. They will give up. You understand? He wants them to give up. You understand?
Okay.
And you know, creating fear in psychology is very, very necessary for you to achieve your own goal. And in politics, in war, it's normal. So leaders, they used to create fear, and that's why I said he has understood the nitty-gritty of Nigerian politics. Rivers, FCT, all over Nigeria, and that's why Bola Tinubu, is working with him.
So you are basically saying that Bola Tinubu is working with him, basically because he understands the nitty-gritty of politics, not basically considering the works he had done in Rivers, as you also said.
No, it's also part of it. Politics doesn't end in only voting or election. It also, ends in, providing dividends of democracy to your own people. If you look at the letter that President sent through his spokesman to our national leader, President Wike, he has categorically said that yes, the dividend of democracy has yielded the result. Meaning what? It means the kind of job that he is doing for the people of FCT has made people of FCT to accept him as a leader, that yes, if he said go and vote to social place, they can do that. Yes, because it's not easy, being a leader in PDP and as well, giving directives to people in FEC. It is a very rare opportunity, and of course, it's a leadership quality. If you don't have a leadership quality like this, some people can even start, it can even lead to crisis. But this man, he manages, and of course, he's doing according to rule of law, according to the rule of the game, and of course, he's succeeding. And that is to tell you that it's a real leadership quality, which is very, very rare in leadership in Nigeria.
So with this new phase of democracy you have just highlighted, are we saying that there's nothing as such as loyalty to a party again?
Of course there is.
How come the realignment and cross-party alignment, cross-party collaboration?
Right.
Where is the place of loyalty in all of this?
Loyalty is there. If there's no loyalty, he cannot, grab that leadership of PDP presently.
I'm talking about the members of even the PDP and
Of course. A lot of people have accepted him as a leader. That is the loyalty. And of course, he has extended his own loyalty to the party. He holds the party. In this country, you hardly get a person who has not decamped from one party to another party. But our national leader, since 1998, when he joined PDP, when he became a local government chairman twice, he couldn't leave that party up to today. And that is the greater part of loyalty that we are talking about, because it's real and it's a reality, as compared to somebody who can be in this party and tomorrow you can see him in that party. All this, Peter Obi was in PDP, he left to Labour Party, he came back to ADC, 3 political parties. Atiku, about 4 political parties. He went to ACN, APC, and now in PDP, and of course to ADC. Amechi, he was in PDP, and he goes back to APC, and from there now he moved to ADC. It's only Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu from ACN to APC through merger. Call me names, big names. All of them, they have moved from this party to this party. And can you call me this? They are loyal to the party? If they are loyal to the party, it's like America. If you are Democrat, you can end up your life in Democrat. If you are Republican, you can end up your life in Democrat. Wike has testified to all Nigerians that he has been in PDP. He started in PDP 1999, 1998. Up to today, he is in PDP. Can you tell me, can you mention one name in Nigeria now, apart from Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has not defected? Just tell me one.
No, you still mentioned that it's for the purpose of democracy and, realignment.
Yeah.
I want to ask you something about your party, the PDP, because no matter how much you try to sort of extend a hand of fellowship or be in romance with the APC, we continue to see you as not just a member of the PDP, but a very high-ranking one at that. And of course, you continue to make reference to that. Anyone who wants to be fair to your party, the People's Democratic Party, would agree that the party has made substantial efforts to reconcile aggrieved members. One of those efforts we saw not too long ago was a panel, or if you like, a committee that was set up, led by a former governor of Kwara State, former president of the Senate, talking about Senator Saraki. We have no idea how that turned out, whether that panel ever worked, whether it ever reconciled anybody, we do not know. Instead, what we have seen has been depletion after depletion after depletion of the membership strength of your party, including fist cuffs at your national secretariat. When you look at all of that, you are asking yourself, will the PDP be able to go into the party, into the election in 2027 as a political entity at all, or will it go in on one leg with bruises and cuts all over?
No, Mr. Simon, you see, you need to understand one thing. In democracy, election is still far away. We're in 2026 February now, and election is going to be next year, at least 1 year ahead of election now.
So a lot can still happen?
You see, a lot can happen. The issue of Saraki feast reconciliation, has been taken over by events. And that events, of course, you knew it. And, when the issue of convention, Ibadan convention came off, and by then, during Damagum-led administration, you see, Damagum insisted that I have to go and conduct that convention, while there are court order stuff in the convention when I didn't conduct it. And that is what, wasn't the, conflict within the party. And of course, the chairman of the reconciliation, who is the former Senate president, did all he could to harmonize the differences, but they went ahead, and he disassociated himself from, Ibadan convention. And of course, they didn't even stop at that. They went and, expelled some of the high-ranking, leadership of the party. And of course, at the end of the day, themselves also, the other side also, did the same. And that is the beginning of the crisis. I just want to assure you that this kind of crisis is an ingredient of democracy. It happens in democracy, and PDP is known for its own internal, mechanism, problem solving, and it has happened before, but not to that length. And I believe things will be harmonized. But as soon as the appellate court gave judgment, you can see things will change. The party secretariat is going to open for us. We're going to occupy, and we're going to do our, what is expected of us as a national caretaker committee. And believe me, you will swing into actions and will do the needful so that our members across Nigeria, 36 states, including FCT, across 774 local government, will have 2 eyes closed when they are going to sleep.
Interestingly, just before we take a break, I would like us to talk about membership registration now going on in parties like the APC. When I talk to even people who are non-partisan, they do not belong to political parties at all, they're not politicians, they tell me that the APC is more deliberate, the APC is more intentional, especially regarding this 2027 conversation, right? In the case of the PDP, what's your party doing to galvanize membership, whether you want to find a way to extend olive branch of some kind to members who have left the party, or you want to register new members to boost your numerical strength? Is the PDP thinking along those lines at all?
Yeah, each political party has its own different way of, bringing in, recruiting, or, conscripting new membership. Our own, during our congresses, we have done that because it's part of our guidelines.
Right.
Normally, before you go into state congresses, there's going to be a membership drive. And I believe we have done a membership drive in most of the states. And of course, now that there's going to be a Congress in some of the states, there must be a membership drives, and definitely it's going to be done, and of course, before we come to convention. And as I said earlier, once the judgment comes out, everything can, be harmonized, and things will start, changing to the better. That is our expectation, and of course, that is our prediction, and that is what even all Nigerians are saying, because we have been receiving a lot of calls all over Nigeria. People love PDP, and it's a clear testimony that we have one seat in Gwagwalada. Those people that are making noise, they couldn't get even one, the ADC.
Interesting. Well, let's take a break now, everyone, at this point. When we return, we'll talk about Rivers politics, where, again, there was also a by-election on Saturday, like we had in Kano as well. Now that Governor Siminalayi Fubara has become a full-fledged card-carrying member of the APC, what exactly are the implications? Given that he's, well, if you like, estranged boss, is also a member of the PDP, even though they say it's a de facto member of the APC. We'll look at those dynamics and how tricky it gets going further. Do stay with us. All right, thank you for staying with us, everyone. Now, Dr. Kiaria, I'd like for us to now take a look at Rivers State. Whether you like it or not, more than ever before, Rivers State has now become front and center in Nigeria's politics, especially given the power play that has happened between the governor and his predecessor and the political godfather, Nyesom Wike. As it stands today, Fubara is a member of the APC, full-fledged, no debates. However, his, let's say his political boss, Nyesom Wike, is not, even though we understand he works for the president, he works for the APC. Does this not create strife? Because before now, we have had issues around who is the leader of the political structure in Rivers State. They say, yes, the president has intervened, but beyond principle, has that rubbed off on the leadership structure in the state?
Yeah, you see, president has intervened, and the issue of Rivers State, whether we like it or not, Barrister Nyesom Wike controls the entire state. You know, everybody knows that he's the one that brought him, the present governor, Siminalayi.
All right.
He brought him as his own successor, and of course he thinks he can do better, and that's why he brought him. And Rivers, during Xmas, I think our national leader has gone on, tour to many local governments in the Rivers State, and you can see how people have come out to welcome him. So, as far as the Rivers State is concerned, whether today or tomorrow, still he holds the key to the Rivers State.
Yes.
That is the fact. Whatever he says is what is going to translate in the Rivers State.
He holds the key to Rivers State. I think that's profound.
Why he has had other, Rivers State has had predecessors. Nyesom Wike has not only been the governor in Rivers State, we've had the likes of Rotimi Amaechi and other governors. So why should Nyesom Wike hold the key to Rivers State?
They have already lost ground. If you look at it, even what has happened here in FCT has, give a very good signal that these big names, they have started losing followership. You see, had it been if they had a followership, the likes of, Amaechi or B. Atiku, they cannot be able to, work for a local government chairman, Amak. They cannot work for his own success. Look at how powerful they are in terms of, politicking in Nigeria. These are people that they have vast experience in politics. They have been in politics for decades, but they were disappointed by the people whom they think they own, the people who they think they are their followers. Because Peter Obi thinks, yes, if I say go and do this, people can go, they will follow the directions. He thinks he can give direction, Atiku thinks he can give direction to people. But unfortunately, look at what happened to Mo. Mo accepted the defeat.
That's the AMA candidates of the ADC.
ADC. If these big names, if they cannot work for the success of a local government, just local government.
And this is Abuja, this is FCT. I'm not talking about
FCT. It's ABAC now. I'm coming. So how then if you now go back to River State, Amechi, has already lost followership in River State. Everybody knows about that. Everybody knows about that. I know they have worked with our leader when he was a governor. He's on COS, Chief of Staff. But majority of our leaders in Nigeria, their problem is once if they couldn't win or if they have a challenges, they abandon their own followers. Until when 4 years comes, they will now go and regenerate relation. It's not possible. And Nyesom Wike is the kind of person that very serious about politics. Not only politics, very serious about whatever he does. So you cannot compare somebody who is serious-minded and then somebody who abandons his followers. When the time comes, he will now come and say, come. People have understood that, yes.
Is it clear that, or is it not clear, or should we say that the reason why there has been a relationship renewal between Nyesom Wike and his followers in River State is basically because of the crisis that has befallen River State following the whole incident between him and Siminalayi Fubara?
It's not because of that. Nyesom Wike, why is it that he has not left the party? It's because he is together with his own followers. Why is it that Atiku, Peter Obi, and Rufai, they are leaving one party from this place? It's because when they discover that they cannot win primary election, they now shift from this party to another party. And then now they started building new empire.
But Peter Obi has taken his followers from one party to another party.
That has not been justified.
The followers have
has
come
not, that has not been justified.
Now in the ADC, he still has followers. So I don't
in Abuja, the presently the reps and senators in Abuja, in which party? Is it not Labour Party? It's Labour Party now. Then they're supposed to, at least if it is Labour Party, so far he has moved to ADC. Of course, ADC is supposed to, at least these AMACs, they're supposed to win that election. You can see Atiku is there, Peter Obi is there. But the reverse is the case, they have not succeeded. This will tell you that they couldn't follow him.
Nyesom Wike
they couldn't follow him to ADC.
He's currently a member of the PDP. And we saw all the positions in River State, just with these elections taken by the APC. Does that say anything about...
That is the cross-party collaborations about the alignment. So he knows what he's doing. Either you are APC, whether you are ABGA, whether you are ADC, you are his follower as far as River State is concerned.
So it's clear to say that the emergence of the PDP in one area council in Abuja was basically just by the sole preparation of the candidate itself. We cannot really say that the PDP supported that candidate.
Of course, the PDP supported it. Of course.
So didn't we have candidates in the PDP in River State?
That's why you will not know, because what is happening is that cross-party alignment, or of course interest alignment. I have said earlier when we started this conversation, you see what is happening is when they discover that yes, you are going to perform better in PDP, they allowed you. And then APC or PDP you step down to, that is what...
Did they all step down in River State? Was there a stepping down from, of PDP members for the ADC across all local governments where this election was conducted in River State?
No, I'm not sure about that in River State. But what is happening is that I just want to tell you that is that what Nyesom Wike is doing is that a realignment of interests. You understand? And of course, cross-party collaboration. What they want is successes. They want success. Right. Of course, the success of the country. They want success. They want to conduct election in a way and manner that there's no hues and crisis, no violence, because what has happened on Saturday is clear for everybody. People think on Thursday, Friday, things will happen, or be careful, or this and that. There are a lot of warning and this. But look at how it ended. It has ended in a way, a manner that everybody has appreciated, of course.
So we're not sure if the PDP lost a River State, or it was an issue of them stepping down. We're not very sure of that.
No, I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want us to talk again about the Electoral Acts.
Yeah.
It has now been, it has become a piece of legislation to,
Yes.
again, help galvanize our electoral process.
Yes.
What are your concerns? Would you say you're satisfied, or there are some elements you thought should have been incorporated?
No, I think to me it's okay, because there are two things that people have focused more on, particularly the other one, the electronic transmission of results.
Online real time.
Online real time, yeah, to IREP, you understand.
Right.
This is their concern, and of course, then they forgot the other one, particularly, which is more important, because all these people that are making noise, you understand, of course, they consider the one important, and then they consider the other one which is not important, because the president has assigned the issue of direct primaries. That direct primaries is a issue of concern in the country. If you could remember, during President Buhari, that has been, subject to discussions all over the country. He said the primary is going to be, must be, direct. In Hausa they call it kato bayan kato, understand. So you see, what is happening now, the president has accepted that he said all political parties must, produce their candidates through direct primaries. Of course, it's very, very important. You understand? He has given an opportunity for younger people to now, come over on stage and contest. This is a very good one, but people are not talking about that one. It's a very good one. Yes, it's going to improve the body politic of Nigeria and strengthen democracy, because there are people that think that they are going to buy the delegates. They have money. They are going to buy the delegate and then stage manage the delegate. Of course, delegate, irrespective of whether they are doing good or bad, delegate can now board them and come over. But this time around, it's not possible. You understand? What is attainable now is you have to go and seek your support from card-carrying members instead of delegate now. You understand? This thing is very, very important, far important than even real-time transmission of the electoral result. Of course.
Okay, just to be clear, the PDP did not participate in the River State elections. But then I want to ask of your opinion on the whole real-time electronic transmission of results. What is your take?
No, it's a very good one, because for Nigeria, you have to create a window, or else in some places election is not going to be conducted, because there are places hard to reach locations. For instance, in my own state, Borno State, there are places that are hard to reach locations where there's no network, no even this thing. So how are you going to conduct election and then of course transmit immediately after?
The same way we made a clause, or the Senate made a clause saying, in cases where there is where we have issues with the beavers or the real time, we can now resort back to the from ECH. Can't we make that same clause for rural communities with no network, and have urban communities that have good and stable network conduct electronic transmission of results real time?
No, it can't be possible like that, you understand.
Why?
The only way is you have to keep the window. Once network glitch can happen anywhere, even in urban places. Even in Abuja, it happens at times. You understand? But then if you didn't give out that window, if you say we are going to 100%, real-time transmission.
We can't make it 100%.
For instance, if you're going to use, there's no window for you to use EC8 form. If there's no window, it means you are not going to proceed with your transmission of results. So that will affect the election, and it will cause violence. You understand? But then if there's an opportunity for you to use EC8, you can avoid the violence. Election violence is very, very terrible.
Of course.
By the time that people have finished voting and you are now sitting down waiting for network, it can cause violence. the INEC staff, particularly the youth corpus, their life is going to be at danger. So it's not possible for them to sit down and wait until when the net comes and they transmit. It's not possible. That's why they give a window. You use that form, and then of course
we can have we can still have all of it with all the clauses and all the windows you mentioned. So why do we say it's impossible when there's a provision of a clause, regardless of which we're using? So is it not possible for the House, the Senate to say, okay, let us have 3 different clauses or 2 different options, 3 different options. This real time, or situations where we can't have real time, we have this or that. I feel like that's a way to start growing. At some point, we will now get to a place where we can now eventually all use one option. But we can start with 3 options, and then we go to 2 options, and until we're able to make it to 1 option.
These are our representatives. They know Nigeria better than us. They are leaders. They know their own constituency, and all of them, they converge together. They have a conversation that yes, because the person come from Kogi State, from Borno State, from Lagos. They are all members of parliament. So when they discuss things, they know their own constituency better than people. Because whatever you are saying, maybe you are talking about your own community, maybe your own or Abuja. And of course, these people, they are all together in one place. They discuss and then they arrive on this. Definitely, they must have seen, benefit of it, and of course, to the Nigerians. Far better than us.
That's interesting to say. Of course, politicians say that we are still evolving in terms of our democracy, our electionary, and what have you. But let's now talk about the place of money in our politics. Every time election is approaching, whether it's the general election cycle or off-grid election, you keep hearing no vote buying, vote your conscience, and so on and so forth. Talk to us about the implications of the influence that money has on electioneering, especially as it has to do with voters. And then, of course, how we can, if you like, demonetize our elections. What we saw on Saturday, for example, was heart-wrenching because there was so much of voter apathy. I mean, my colleague and I were here for most part of Saturday. The report was very clear. There was voter apathy, low voter turnout, and what have you. How do we strike a balance and make progress?
The issue of voter apathy is a responsibility of all. You cannot apportion the blame to only political parties. You can apportion the blame to citizens themselves, because most of our youths that are vanguard of change, they are not well consulted about what they're supposed to do. And of course, it's full responsibility. It cannot be only government. Of course, non-governmental organizations like civil society organizations like FLAC, Policy Legal Advocacy Center, like Connected Development. There are a lot of big CSOs in this country. But most of the times, what they do is they are not doing the needful. You can see if there's a protest, you can see them in the protest, but they are not doing real, community engagement. Citizenship engagement is very, very low in Nigeria. And that's why you can see a lot of people, they don't even know what is happening. And of course, for us to, put the house in order, we must come back to the drawing board and to see that, yes, all that are supposed to, be in the field, a field of advocacy, they're supposed to, go and have that, advocacy in a way and manner that can benefit this country. Because, these CSOs, some of them you can see them in Abuja. If you go to state, you cannot see them. And of course, we have 36 states, and this is where the majority of our people are living. At times, they're supposed to go and do even focus group discussion. Sit down with at least youths, 20, 30 youths, do a focus group discussion, get the outcome feedback, and then from there, they can identify the kind of youths that, yes, they're supposed to, this person, this guy, if you started working with him, is going to do the good thing. All those things that I'm saying is absent in our body politic. People think that, yes, as a political party, as a PDP, APC, or NDC, you're supposed to go and, consultize your members. No. This is not enough. The citizens supposed to have a very strong engagement. That engagement is supposed to come from CSOs, from the government, from the parents, of course. In your own neighborhood, there are unemployed graduates. Have you sit down and talk to them about, body policy in this country? Have you consultized them? You don't have time. Whenever when you come to your house, you just go in and stay with your family. But have you engaged with them? Do you know what they are doing? Of course, we're supposed to take our responsibilities. Of course, as a citizens, as a neighbors, as a family, of course, we're supposed to engage those people who are over 18 years, who are eligible voters, so that we can tell them what is needful. Or else, some of them, they say, why should I come on board? I'm not the one becoming, they will say, I'm not the one becoming the leader.
Right.
I'm not the one becoming the president or the governor or the councillor. I will not go on board. But they have not understand the consequences. Of course, those that they understood the consequences is being demoralized by certain factors. Of course, we need to encourage them. This is the country that we are. We don't have any other country apart from Nigeria. If we are living like this, how are you going to make things better?
Well, I think that question is worth a million, as they say. It's food for thought. We hope that we continue to conscientize citizens, not just by the CSOs alone, but also by political parties, of course, INEC and other public agencies of government. We've been speaking with Dr. Grema Carey. He's People's Democratic Party National Caretaker Committee member. He's also loyal to Nyesom Wike, Minister of the FCT. Dr. Carey, we would like to say we appreciate your insights on the program this morning.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Great. Just to also remind you that the views of all of our guests across all of our programs, including here on Global Morning, are their opinions. I'm Uyi Agumofwegbe.
And I am Priscilla Ovasi, wishing you an amazing day ahead. Bye.